Let's move on to the next panel that delves into how advancements in media technology are reshaping the sports industry and fan experience. So get ready now to learn more about the opportunities and challenges sports organizations faced in leveraging these technologies to create more interactive, personalized, and immersive fan experiences in today's digital age. So let's welcome on stage Koen Bosma, partner Apex, Manuel Abegao, marketing and events director Liga Portugal, Lucas Cazenave, director digital contenido e innovación Club América, and also the moderator Joackim, head of customer success EMEA, ScorePlay. Un fuerte aplauso, por favor. Round of applause for Koen Bosma, Manuel Abegao, Lucas Cazenave y Joackim Goff. Hola a todos, welcome. Hello, everyone, and Joackim, all yours. Please enjoy. See you later. Bye.
All right. Is it working? Perfect. Thank you all for coming to this session, where we'll be talking about engaging the modern fan through media technology, which is, a key topic in sports, particularly in the last few years. And I'm really happy to be joined by number one, Lucas from Club America's digital director, Koen, partner at Apex Capital, and indeed Manuel from Liga Portugal, who is marketing director. Going straight into the question about today's topic, fan engagement, Manuel, I'm going to start with you because you're on the far side. Fan engagement has been the buzzword and probably something that means everything and nothing for the last few years. But from your perspective, leading marketing at Liga Portugal, how would you define fan engagement in 2024, and what are your key objectives behind it?
Thank you, Joaquin. First of all, I would like to thank World Football Summit for the invitation. It's really a pleasure to be here with you guys with so much talent in the stage. So it's an honor for me to be here. In terms of the question, I think now we are talking about fan engagement to be much more interactive with the interactions that we have with the fans and much more close to them. It's not anymore just talking with the fans. So I think driven by digital innovations and by the personalization, the content personalized, I think we are not talking anymore about just talking with the fans. We are talking about giving them really experience for them that the money can't buy. Just highlight some things that I think are really important now. When we talk about data personalization, it's really important. So to have and to have the knowledge to for example, we can be fans of Sevilla, but the way that Sevilla talk with us should not be has to be different than to talk with. So they have to speak with me in a different way that they speak with you. Then, of course, the social impact and the community is also really important. So for this deep feeling of the fans with us, we have to take care of that. Gamification is also something that is really important. Give you an example. I was really into the Euro because everyone in the office was playing the fantasy. So now we can see that this type of things is really important. Other thing that I think is important is now we are not talking with the fan just on the game day. So there are a lot of days that we have to keep these meaningful interactions with the fan. And finally, I think we have to join all of this and to understand that we are in a different phase, and now the fan is key, but not only to talk with them. So we have to really keep this in mind to talking with them.
Koen, I think Manuel just exposed like so many interesting points from data acquisition to gamification, personalization of the experience. I think you're probably one of the best placed to understand the market trends and how the fan engagement topic has probably shifted from the social engagement wave to the lifestyle and personalized experiences, to the how fan engagement is driving e-commerce, then the NFT and digital collectible / gamification aspect. What's your point of view on those different waves, and what do you think is key now when we're talking about fan engagement, and what is like striking you as an expert?
Well, the most important thing when it comes to fan engagement is that you distinguish between the place where you actually are. So if you look at fan engagement from within a stadium or from the comfort of your own couch, or in a bar with friends, that is going to really be different in how you talk about engaging. Now, if you go into the stadium, there's lots of good initiatives happening. If you talk more about going into the bars, I think everyone here has probably seen what happened in the US with Cazenave and the Sphere, where there's completely new ways of watching TV in a outside setting. But when you look at home, I think that what, to a degree, I'm not going to say annoys me because it's a bit of a strong word, but what I always find striking is that probably everyone in the audience here today, I'm assuming already 40% by now is using his phone when there's a bit of content being produced. But every time in a sports setting people talk about people using their phone while watching TV, they say it's a bad thing, but it's just the reality that we have to deal with today. So for me, engagement, it's not about 100% dedication towards 90 minutes of football. You should be able to combine it and don't stress the fact that everything should be 100% focused on the 90 minutes of football. So the setting is a bit different, and that for me dictates how you would differentiate between how to engage a fanware.
Excellent. Lucas, you're representing a club with over 100 years of history, highly engaged fan base, I presume as well. And from your digital director perspective, how do you find the balance between engaging fans by embracing new technologies and new channels, but also being cautious of the club heritage and all the tradition behind it? Because sometimes I feel like it's a thin balance, particularly with your core fan base.
Well, as football clubs, we are organizations that have, as you said, over than 1,000 years of history, and that's not easy to take. We see every day, every year, industries or business that fall and rise. So I think that's quite a thing, even though the technology has changed a lot of the industry and the sports industry, I'm almost sure that 90% of people in this room, the roles wouldn't exist some few years ago. My role wouldn't exist. Football is sensitive to the digital transformation and to technology transformation. The TV arrival 50 years ago changed the sports and the way of consuming, because if not, the football was only for the 40,000 people that was attending to the stadium. Now everyone can see and consume football, and we are in an era, even though there are apocalyptical kinds of perspectives, never before we have consumed sports and the amount of sports that we are consuming these days. But digital transformed us and engagement transformed us. Before the digital era transformation, our connection with the fans was limited, as Manuel said, only to the 90 minutes of game. And now we have a 24/7 bond and kind of communication. So that's a challenge and also an opportunity. It's an opportunity because we can, develop all this that we have developed, and the industry is races and is having all this development. But I think it's a really nice challenge, and having what the audience expect from us is not only an opportunity, it's also a demand, because as having these so engaged fans is also a big challenge for it.
Excellent. And Manuel, I guess same at Liga Portugal. pushing new initiatives and embracing technology for maximizing the bond with the fans is key, but you also have to preserve those brand values and heritage of the league. Is it something that you're also cautious about, or something that you consider when you're experiencing or driving new funnels and new experiences?
Sure, and I think it's really important for us as a league to work closely with the clubs. Okay, so all these experience that we are talking are between the clubs and the fans. So what we created at Liga Portugal, it was a team, like a consultant team, that works closely with the clubs, especially the smaller clubs that doesn't have the structure that the big clubs have. And we creating different things, fun engagement, ticketing, different things to improve this experience. For example, I think sometimes we can talk about small examples that make the difference. For example, we create like a mystery fun that is a team of fans that they go to the stadiums without the club knowing, and they evaluate everything, the quality of the bar, the transportation, if they receive a text before the game, if they were able to buy a ticket online, if there were activations outside, if there were activations inside, if the quality of the sound was good, if after the game they receive a text, if the club interact with them. So with all of this, then we analyze all the data and we deliver to the clubs all the data analyzed. We have like a classification that, for example, a club in Portugal can know that I'm in 7th position in terms of quality of bars, so I have to improve this. And this type of feeling, this type of competition is good because for the clubs to understand the importance to work with the fan, and they start moving this. Other thing that we did since this year is that we have a match delegate only for the organization of the game. So it's not focusing on the pitch, it's focusing everything else to help the club and for us to have the control to work on that. Just a final point, we are probably the only league here present that we don't have the rights centralized, but that's why we have to take care of our product, because in 3 years we will have it, and we saw the change that La Liga, for example, has with that, so we have to take care of our product with this.
Super insightful, and just to rebound on what you said, so a big part is about interfacing and coordinating with the clubs, so gaining feedback from them, probably offering them additional services and pushing them to also embrace the transformation. Do you also have direct initiatives with the fans? I'm thinking fan service, workshop, and direct access to the fans to also get fans' insights directly to the league, because usually the fans are fans of clubs, not necessarily to the league-wide brand.
We have clubs that allow us to connect with their fans. That is nice for us, as we have some tools that they don't have, so we give that service for the clubs. And then in our competitions that we own, for example, Allianz Cup, that is the cup league, and that is a product that we own, we use it also to show what can be like, for example, for the guys that don't know, it's a week that we have in January with semi-finals and final, but it's much more than this. We have a concert, we have a fun zone, we have a comedy club, we have esports competitions, we have Legends Cup. So we use all of this to show what is our goal for our competitions. So this is like an entertainment week, and then to collect data and to interact with these fans to understand what they need.
And Koen, I think Manuel was tackling something that is quite interesting, is the sports and entertainment becoming more and more closer together. And you were mentioning, so we are at World Football Summit, but the Sphere is, the recent UFC event was really about maximizing an entertaining experience beyond sports. I think you had the example as well of the bar in Los Angeles recently, having a virtual pitch-side view on a big screen of a Man United match. Number one, like, have you seen a recent sports/entertainment innovative experience that struck you? And number two, what's your take on these boundaries that are becoming more and more close between sports and entertainment?
Yeah, big question, but when you look at sports as is, so football in this particular case, what you see and what everyone is looking to get here is latest insights in how you can make the sport of today a little bit better. What I think is the interesting trend that is happening, and it started, in Spain, to be honest, with the Kings League, where you look at an existing sport like football, you look at the problems that it faces, and rather than trying to change all the big teams, the leagues, and everything that comes with it, with incremental changes, is you look at the fundamental problems a particular sport is facing, or you think can be better, and instead of trying to optimize the as-is, you completely disrupt. And of course, as a VC, we always like to see the things that can be really big and can be really disruptive and impactful. And that trend, if you call it, on how you engage with a football fan, not just a team supporter, but a football fan, in getting him from still supporting football, but also giving him another form of football and engaging him in a completely different way. We see that in so many other sports. We are investors in tomorrow's sports, which turns golf into a media product. I mentioned the Kings League already, and now you see in all these different sports that all have their individual problems, that they're looking not to optimize the current situation, but really disrupt it and create another form of that sport. And that for me is the most interesting trend, if you will, to see.
Breaking the barriers.
Exactly, yeah.
And Lucas, I think rebounding on Koen, it's also offering different experiences to different communities and audiences, and it's more and more of like layering different niches of fans, so hardcore fans, lifestylers, families. But I think for you at Club America, one important aspect is also embracing the international audience, and particularly in the US. So maybe you could tell us a bit more about it.
Yes, well, we recently won an award for that strategy yesterday in World Football Summit. So,
congrats!
Thank you. We have as a club, a Mexican club, we have a very huge audience in USA. It's not a secondary market for us. It's like a second primary market because we already have the fans there. We have to see how can we engage with them when we develop a strategy in engagement strategy or social media strategy. We try to know where our fans are because why we are in our social media channels is because we want to get them because we know they're spending time there. But we have to know where they are, how they consume football and sports. That is maybe different from a community that lives in Mexico. It's different, a young boy that has 15 years than somebody that's 40. So I think, well, it's the good challenge of knowing how to get them and how to develop a strategy specifically for them. In USA, well, an example, we know that in USA the Snapchat community is much bigger than Mexican. It's almost zero. So, well, maybe developing a Snapchat strategy for them to get it. The same as the way that younger generations are consuming football. We know that they spend less time watching content, so they need this screen change or content change. And maybe that's a challenge that Kings League has, and what they're trying to get, and sports that has different rules I think that we as clubs and leagues and the football, we have something in a balance, because as I said before, there's like the apocalyptic ones, the conservative ones. I think there's something in the middle where we can develop or evolve in a way that we can, knowing our fans and knowing how they consume, adapt them to get them near for our brands. And I think that's the challenge for us, knowing that new generations want authentic content. They don't want the advertising that was before, that was maybe content generated by cell phone only, and not with 10 cameras and all the edition, because they want authenticity and they want that. So understanding these kind of insights is what we have to use for get near them. And USA is a really good challenge for us, and well, I think we are doing it well, at least. We played 15 friendly matches also this year. There's a lot of business development that we're trying to get there.
That's huge, and congrats again for the award. And Manuel, I think it's probably a hot topic you share with Lucas. Is he was talking about internationalizing the audience, particularly to the US, but I suppose as well as a marketing leader, you have new key targets identified and different key audiences that you want to address besides the, I would say, traditional Liga Portugal football fans. Could you elaborate a bit on it? Do you have some key audiences that you started targeting a bit more heavily, and how?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, of course, we have different targets, and I think as a league we can also use different competitions that we organize to reach different targets. Giving you an example, when we do a Legend Cup with ex-players, famous ex-players, it's a perfect thing, for example, to give full access for the guys that are watching the competition. So we can have the players talking during the match. We can have, like we were talking about Kings League. So sometimes we have these type of competitions where we can do different stuff and innovate. When we are talking about doing an esports competition, when we are talking about being present at Rock in Rio, for example, when Liga Portugal is at Rock in Rio, we are reaching different targets, because we know, and Lucas was talking about that, when we talk about young audience, for example, I'm not so old, but at my time, I only focus on football. And now people, they like football, they like other sports, they like Netflix, so we have to be ready for that. And I think to these different competitions and to innovate in each of them can be really good for us to do that.
But just for me to understand always the Legends game, because they're a bit older, maybe
not so old, because I think there are some of that are here. So.
There are some, but they gained a bit of weight. So the core of what they did is going to be a lot less. So what, for example, for you guys is the reason to organize Legends game? What's the reason, or what's the intent behind it?
As I know that is a legend here. They are legends, so they still play really well, okay? But what we do, it's we don't do the usually game 11 against 11, because it's too boring. So what we do, it's 6 against 6, a game more close. You can have, then we bet in some digital content, in some different content.
But I mean more, what is the audience you're trying to reach, or you're trying to engage with? What is it?
I think, and we had that those numbers when we did that. It's normal for us to understand that probably my father will watch that because it's the ex-player that he used to see, but not. We have a lot of young people that, as is a different and more dynamic game, and it's more fast, as Lucas was saying, so they don't have so much time to spend. In terms of content, of digital content, and all the content that we bring from the competition and this type of competition, it's a different stuff. So sometimes the goal is not so important, but the things that happen in the game, because the guys are playing tough, but then they are smiling and they are saying fun stuff, it's easy to go to the young audience.
Perfect. And I'm jumping on the gun here, but we were mentioning legends and players, and I think it's actually a good question for you, Koen. I'm probably like summing up very quickly, but I feel like the audience shifted from connecting to sports through broadcasters 20 years ago, connecting then directly with the clubs and leagues, and more now they are connecting directly with the athletes, and the athletes are really empowering this fan engagement. New stupid example, but it's like the signings of players now directly shifting on social media and on other channels, fan base from one club to another, which is a new move. And I know you have an expertise, working directly with athletes. And what's your view on that, and how the athletes are empowering fan engagement? And do you think it's becoming more and more core for the different stakeholders of the ecosystem to actually feed the athletes with more content, experiences, and leverage them to maximize this bond with the audience?
Yeah, I think there is a difference between a fan and a follower. So if you support your team, it's easier to divorce your wife in all of our cases than to change your team. So you will always support the team you support, but when you really like a particular player, you're going to follow him wherever. So that's one main difference. And then when it comes to athletes and engaging with their fans, yeah, it's becoming more and more important, because if there's one thing as Apex that we know, is that if you want to make positive changes in the world of sports, you need to involve the core stars of the game, which is always the athletes. It's not the clubs, it's not the leagues, it's always the athletes that do it. And you see more and more and more athletes 10, 15 years ago got away with a post-match interview saying, yeah, it's not about the 2 goals I scored, it's about the team, and we're so happy that we won. But that's not going to cut it anymore. Athletes are building their own brands, and with that, their own platforms to drive positive change. And I think there's a couple of guys in the room here today as well. Yeah, if you can really stand for that change and use your platform to drive that change, yeah, that's the most influential thing there is.
I think it's probably a daily, I would say, topic of interest for you. Look at the club level is activating the players and leveraging their audience and their connection to their fans. More concretely speaking, how are you working with them to drive your digital club's objectives? Also being cautious that their number one priority as players is being performant on the pitch.
Of course, well, that's one of our challenges every day, as you said. Well, players, as Koen said, they have their own brands, but well, we as clubs are the part of the organization that hire them, and they are in the context of our own institution. So even though we have contracts and legal stuff that is written more or in a gray way in the contract, but first they have to understand that they are in an institution that it has their own values, their own way of communicate, their own way of bonding with the fans. So I think that's the main first question. When you are in the context of our institution, you must be, well, there are some rules, but not in a bad way. We don't want to have that kind of relationship with our players, because we know they are very important for us in the field, outside the field. So they also are aware that it's a relationship when we both need, and as we can use them, they also can use us for our audience, for the fans. We share the same fans, we share the same context, the same goals in a kind of way, even though, well, as Koen said, they have sometimes the advantage that it's easier for people to connect with people, and it's easier for communicate you as a person, because it's easy to engage in that way. And as I said before, people and especially the Gen Z, they want authentically and having the athlete talking. That sometimes what the challenge also that we have as clubs are we have an editorial way of speaking that sometimes can be kind of bored or not, because well we as the biggest club in Mexico, as I said before, we have some values, we have communication, a brand that we need to take care, and we don't want to say anything or something that can hurt somebody. We have to take care of our reputation. But as clubs needs leagues and leagues needs clubs, athletes needs clubs and we need the athletes. So I think that's an ecosystem that it's although they have challenge and they have like these kind of relationships that are already building and transformation and transform every day because we have new kind of communications. Athletes can open their Instagram live and say whatever they want without anyone in the middle. They don't need the journalists, and that's the challenge. How we manage these kind of relationships, but we used to have, and we want to have players that share our values, and that's the same from them. So I think that's a relation, a very good relation that we can manage.
Excellent. And from a tech stack and tooling perspective, are you also delivering new services or new tools to the players to actually leverage the audience or providing them club content, things like that? Like, are you change this aspect of your work?
Well, that's kind of as I said before, the technological transformation has changed a lot. Our team, I am almost 10 years in the industry. I've seen marketing teams that were from 1 or 2 people, now are 20, 30 people. And also the tools that we need have changed. We produce a lot of content every day in training session, match day, and all that stuff. So they are developed a lot of tools and platforms, and especially ScorePlay, as you are here, helped us to share and distribute all the content for the players, and that's a very, very good way of having this kind of relationships, because the content, our photographer, camera, all that they do every day, we can share easily with them, and that's kind of a very good example of a relationship, and a very good example of what a tool specifically can attack a pain point for us and help us to make better process.
Super insightful, and thanks for the good word about ScorePlay. Manuel, I think as well from your perspective, probably a change of skills and profiles, having in your marketing teams to leverage new platforms, being data and digital driven, based on your background and experience. Do you see like the rise of new profiles that are becoming key to your core team to achieve your objectives?
Yeah, I think that's really important. But things are changing so fast that we really need to. That's Lucas was saying that now the teams are bigger, and that's a fact. So I'm happy to have in my team young people and a lot of talent that they know things that for me now that it's not my generation anymore, I don't know. So it's really important for us to have around people that understand how the market is changing. So that is really important. Other thing is that we always have to innovate, and that is key. So people want authenticity and everything, but we have to be up. So we have to innovate. For example, we were the first implementing a high ball with Kinixon, and this type of first moves is really important for us to be on the top, and to give, for example, on this example, we gave to the broadcaster data live. So all these innovations are really important, and to have around people, young people that already understand what the things are changing, I think it's important.
And Koen, maybe like it's kind of a crystal ball question, but um, if I would like to summarize, what's next? But more specifically, where do you see in tech and media for sports a really good opportunity for growth of revenues? I'm just taking two examples. I think like in the last years, many sports organizations really focused more on e-commerce, and from activating lifestyle social feeds to enhancing their e-commerce web experience, and really driving the purchase of merch. But do you see anything else recently, or that you think will be opening a new revenue stream for those organizations?
I think the mentality for sports organizations will go a lot more towards, let's call it direct to consumer. So before you were either a part of a league that sells the media rights, and then you get a certain guarantee, and then you take your cut of whatever is being generated in terms of revenue. Now what I think is more and more interesting is the direct-to-consumer approach. So whether it's about exclusive content can also be interpreted differently, but let's say content that you have to pay for, whether it's opening up direct e-commerce channels towards your customers, engaging your fans in whichever platform they are, so whether it's Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, whichever one. So I think that transition from, let's say, being a little bit lazy and doing B2B sales mostly, to going direct to consumer is going to be the biggest shift, and is the only way to keep growing, to be honest.
Thank you, that's a perfect answer for me. I'm always trying to be the timekeeper, so I wanted to use the last few minutes potentially for asking our audience here if there was any question for our guest, because I think there is a mic that is available. So if anyone has a question or topic you would like to address to Luca, Manuel, and Koen, please don't hesitate to raise your hand and we can give you a mic. If not, I still have one or two questions.
Joackim, just to add something that I
Yep,
think
please.
it's really important. When we are talking in the future, of course, gamification, and we are talking about AR, AI, so all of this will be important. But just to give the example that I think we have to never forget that the live experience, it's really important, and it's what feeds everything that we are talking here. So yesterday, and thanks for the invitation, I had the pleasure to be at Betis Stadium, and the atmosphere, the quality of the game was amazing. And without them, and Koen was giving a great example of the bar in Las Vegas. I think it was a Manchester United game that they were showing. That is great, but it's great also because the atmosphere in the stadium is amazing. So the stadium was full, the quality of the game is good. So we can never forget that this is really important for us to take care. And without them, we can do a lot of stuff, but we will not have the same impact as if we have a great product.
Really wise words. Koen or Lucas, do you have some final words for completing what Manuel said?
I'm just curious if there's no questions from the audience. Huh? Oh, there's a couple, I think.
I forgot my glasses.
I've seen a hand raising on the right. Perfect. The mic, I think, is. Is
this working? It is. Hi, my name is Rafael. I come with FBA. My question is for Mr. Manuel. Hi, Manuel. I have to admit I'm from Portugal, so I'm aware of all the strategies that the Liga has been implementing. I agree with you in terms of the Final Four, with several events prior to the start of the games, and technologies with the final of the cup, with the ball. My question is, one of the issues raised in these last few weeks has to do with the prices for the viewers in the TV, and the scandal, kind of the problem with hacking the system and getting the games streamed illegally. What do you think the league can do to avoid this issue, and also to kind of protect the fan base because of the high rises of the prices?
So,
Burning question.
3 questions from a Portuguese guy. I forgot my glasses, I cannot see you, but I heard you well. In terms of piracy, and La Liga is talking a lot, and dwell about that. I think it's a big fight that everyone has. In terms of prices, as you know, and as I said, we still don't control the product, okay? So we don't have the broadcasting rights. So it's not our prices. So I understand that is something that is difficult, but our way is to take care of our product, to improve with the clubs, with the players, the game and the stadiums, the infrastructure, in order that the game can be better. Then the price is a different discussion that we can have outside, because the time is flying.
Any other question from the audience? Okay, let's go. Perfect. I think any.
We're on time.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
How important do you think storytelling is? This is general to everyone. How important is storytelling in engaging the fan? Because you look at Wrexham, Drive to Survive, the impact they've had in engaging fans globally who wouldn't normally have an association with the club has been amazing. And you look at something like rugby in the UK, it has great products, really entertaining, but they can't tell stories and engage fans. So in all the different mediums, I just want to think, how important is that?
I'll take it, but it's super important in many ways. So before, let's say, the main thing everyone is always focused on is the end result of a game, and the equation that comes before that end result, people don't know. And now with all the different platforms that are there, there's a great opportunity to talk about the equation and not only about the result. And I think the more authentic stories you can tell, because there's a lot of great examples like Drive to Survive that did great, but for every Drive to Survive, there's also been a couple, call it copies, that have not been great, just because the authenticity of what is being shared is not there. So in short, yes, storytelling is very important, but how to do that properly, I suggest you speak with Joackim from ScorePlay.
Yeah, for me it's the same. Storytelling is almost as important as performance. You said there are sports that get a lot of good performance, or the rules are great, but if you don't have the storytelling, it's difficult to connect with the fans or with the audience. And that's what clubs already have. They have kind of hundreds of history and all the audience that it's behind. There's a challenge for new clubs or new sports that they want, or how they develop all these storytellings. There are many good cases as we are in the age of documentaries. Everyone has the documentaries, and what's that? That is the sports or the club or the athletes trying to make a storytelling for them, and that's a very good way of consuming or to connecting, because people want to hear the stories. People, it's not only to see the performance of the match, is knowing all the context that is of the past of the athlete, of the past of the club, of the rivalry that has a club with another. I think that's the huge, the opportunity that clubs, football, sports, and anyone is building and taking advantage of what of the storytelling that we have. So.
Thank you for your time. It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed this, and thank you for attending.
Well.